If your portraits never look like the reference, don't blame your shading. The real problem starts before you draw a single detail. Let's fix that. Every portrait starts with one simple reference point, the center of the page. This gives me one fixed reference point, so instead of guessing where the portrait belongs, I can compare every shape to the center as I build it. Before I draw any facial features, I always block in the outside shape first. The hair, the cheeks, the jawline, and the chin define the size and proportions of the head. Once those are in place, positioning the features becomes much easier. Now it's time to organize the face. I start with the brow line because it establishes the angle of the head. Then I place the nose guide using the same angle, followed by the chin guide. The last guide is for the mouth. I place it halfway between the nose and the chin. It's not the lips yet. It's simply a reference that helps me place the lower lip accurately later. The last guide is the center line. It follows the natural angle of the head, keeping every feature aligned. Now the structure is complete, and we're ready for the details. Now it's time to add the facial features. This stage may look simple, but it's one of the most important. Don't worry about making every feature perfect yet. Your only goal is to get the size and placement right. If the structure is correct, every step that follows becomes much easier. The fine details will come later with the shading. At this point, you might be thinking, that doesn't even look like the reference. And that's completely normal. None of these lines are final. I'll soften and erase most of them before I start shading. The shading is where everything starts coming together, and I'll show you exactly how we get from this to the final portrait. Now we're moving into the most important stage, the shading. Everything we've done so far was preparing us for this moment. Without a solid structure, shading becomes much easier to control. From this point on, almost the entire portrait will be shaded with just one pencil, the Staedtler Mars Lumograph Black 8B. Think one pencil isn't enough? Let's find out. I always begin with the nose because it's the center of the face. Once it looks right, judging every other feature becomes much easier. Can you already see the difference? The change isn't coming from more lines, it's coming from light and shadow. As you watch this stage, pay attention to how the form slowly starts to appear. Here's the key. Don't think in outlines, think in values. Build soft transitions between light and shadow instead of hard edges, and let the form develop naturally. Before moving to the eye, I make a few small adjustments to the outline. Why? Because even a tiny change here can affect the size and position of the eye. Would you rather fix it now, or after finishing the entire portrait? That's why I always check these proportions before moving on. Can you see how this shadow helps define the space between the eyebrow and the eyelid? I'm not adding details yet. I'm checking that everything fits together before I continue. Once the upper eyelid is in place, the lower eyelid becomes much easier to build using the same technique. You might have noticed I still haven't drawn the pupil. That's intentional. I'll save it for later because it's one of the details that has the biggest impact on the portrait. Can you already feel the portrait starting to come together? I'm still working on just one side, and that's intentional. Now you might be wondering, why am I shaded the mouth before finishing the second eye? There's a reason for that, and it'll make matching both sides much easier. I'll show you in just a minute. The basic shape of the mouth was already established during the outline stage. Now I'm simply refining it. Pay close attention to the curve of the upper lip and its thickness. Those two details have a huge impact on the final expression. Everything else is built gradually with light and shadow. Realistic portraits take time, and that's completely normal. Don't rush the process. Every layer you add brings you one step closer to the final portrait. With the mouth refined, I can now clean up the small contours around the face. Notice that the outline isn't just one smooth curve. Those subtle changes in the contour make a big difference in the final likeness. Now it's time for the second side of the face. Remember when I said I was saving the second eye? Here's why. So why didn't I draw the second eye earlier? But every step we've completed since then has given us more reference points. The shadows around the cheek, the side of the nose, and the surrounding forms all make it much easier to judge the eye's exact size and position. Instead of guessing, I'm confirming my measurements as I go. Now the process is exactly the same as before. Start with the eyebrow, then the upper eyelid, then the lower eyelid. Everything follows the same angle we established from the beginning. Even if this eye looks slightly larger, it actually isn't. The first eye only appears smaller because of perspective. Now let's move on to the hair. At first, all those bright highlights might look complicated, but don't draw the white strands first. Instead, focus on the dark shapes between them. As those shadows come together, the highlights will appear naturally because the paper is already white. Can you already see the hair taking shape? Just keep following the natural flow of the hair and the shape of the head. That's what makes it look realistic. For the final flyaway hairs, I'm using an electric eraser. This step is completely optional, but it helps create cleaner highlights. Now I can refine the jawline and move down to the neck. Don't rush through this area. Can you spot the 3 different values? The darkest shadow, the midtone, and the lightest area. Those smooth transitions are what create the illusion of depth. Without them, the neck would look flat. When the values blend naturally, the portrait starts to feel three-dimensional instead of looking like lines on paper. Now it's time for one of the most important details in the entire portrait, the pupil. Even a tiny adjustment here can completely change the direction of the eyes and the overall expression. Take your time placing it, and don't forget the highlight. That small reflection is what gives the eyes their focus and brings the expression together. And that's it. This is why every step mattered. If you enjoyed this lesson and want to learn more, don't forget to subscribe. Keep drawing, keep learning, and if you think every portrait starts the same way, my Dr. Strange tutorial might surprise you. I'll see you there.